Friends, this is one of the important elections of our lifetime, especially for the residents of Queens County. Exactly what we are looking at a person who is qualified as a district attorney. A guy, first of all, he should be living in the county of Queens, not in Westchester, not in New York City or somewhere else. And we need someone who has proper experience, right mind, principle, moral, and care about people. Very most important, right experience. Right experience in what? Prosecuting, defending, look at the people's welfare, look at the people's getting fair justice. That's what we are looking at the district attorney's office. And there is another individual is running, whose name is City Council member Rory Lanchman.
Has not investigated, prosecuted, defended in any way, shape, or form any individual or represented people of the state of New York in a criminal capacity. He is an attorney. He has practiced in civil matters, but he has no criminal experience. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, the people need to understand that in order for this job, this person to do the job, they have to have the experience to know how to work in the system. They have to know how to experience to lead other prosecutors and tell them. Because when someone dies in a public park and an officer gets killed trying to stop a robbery of a store, it's not the lower assistant district attorneys that make the decision. It's the district
attorney himself has to make the decision.
He or she has to make the decision of what charges are brought, whether the person is going to be remanded, whether the person is going to be indicted, and how they're going to be indicted, what witnesses, what evidence to use at trial. And if that person has never done it before,
how he's going to do it?
And that's why I tell all voters, I say, if God forbid, if you were a victim of a crime or if your family was a victim of a crime, who would you want to prosecute that case? The individual who has no experience? Or the individual who's been doing it for 18 years? Because that's what you have to ask yourself. Don't let them fool you and say, oh, well, the DA doesn't really have to prosecute.
Got it.
No, it does. The DA makes decisions on big cases that the public want to know. You know, what's going on with those cases, how is justice being done in our court system, and it's the responsibility of the DA's office to make those, the DA to make those decisions.
There is also another candidate, Judge Lyson.
The voters of Queens has to ask themselves, if they want change, who's going to give them the change? Is it a person that's been part of the DA's office for over 2 decades, has been a pro-prosecutor judge for another decade or so? You know, is that the person that's going to change the system? And I tell them, no, it's not. It's the person who comes in who doesn't owe the Democratic Party anything,
Right.
who doesn't owe favors here and have personal relationships with judges and stuff like that. Things like that, you have to be independent as the district attorney, and you have to be able to come into the job and be able to say, this is what's going to change. And it's going to change because never accept the argument, we've always done this before and we should continue to do it. Nonsense. Though because you've done it before doesn't make it right. This is how it's going to change, and it takes somebody who has experience to say that. Because the individuals on the other side of that discussion have 15, 20, 10 years experience as prosecutors, and they're looking at you and saying, have you done this? We're telling you this is not possible. Have you done this? And if you can look at them in the eye and say, I have. I've done this, and I know what the law requires, and I know how we can change it and make it better. That's respect. That, from their perspective, is an understanding of at least he knows what we do. At least that Jose Nieves knows. He's done the job. He knows what it entails. He knows what type of responsibility we have. He's looked into the eyes of victims. He's seen. He's made arguments to try to put people away because they've caused the death of others in the streets of the city. So, it takes that type of experience and that type of commitment to change. I don't believe Judge Lasek has that commitment because he's just been part of the system for too long.
Too long, yes.
He has grown up. He is as a district attorney, as a lawyer. His entire career has been in the DA's office in Queens. I've prosecuted in the federal system, in the military, and as a special assistant U.S. attorney. I've prosecuted cases as a district attorney, assistant district attorney in Brooklyn. I've prosecuted cases as a deputy chief with the New York State Attorney General's office. I practice in local, state, and federal jurisdictions. I have a varied perspective of the criminal justice system. I've seen what works, and I've seen how to make things better, and I've seen how to move in a way and change things in a way that creates real effect, that creates real fairness in the criminal justice system. If you've only known your entire career Queens District Attorney's Office, then that's all you know. If that's all your experience has been, that's all you know. How do you change something if you don't have that diversity of background, diversity of experience?